For years, rumors have swirled that Jay-Z fathered a secret son, Rymir Carter, most dismissed it as gossip until now. A judge has officially allowed the case to move forward, giving Jay-Z until July 18th to respond.
It's something crazy going on with this case. Honestly, I just want everybody in the world just to keep their eyes open and just watch things that happen, that just like how things unfold, because it's crazy. It really is crazy. These judges, these lawyers, this fraud, collusion, who knows what it's for, money or friendships or whatever they got going on. But I can honestly say that we should never go in the courtroom feeling like we're already the victims and we did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong but come in here, tell you guys the truth, put our life on the line, come to every court case and give you 100% plus of us, and basically we just got stepped over.
But my thing is this, this is how easy it is. First of all, kids come before everything.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're gonna have problems with your kids sometimes, but if you got $1 billion, if you got $10 million, you go, listen, young, well, I don't want the world to know nothing about this because my image, here goes some money, I'm gonna take care of you. Nobody's gonna say no. And you my son, I love you. I'm gonna give you money. I just don't want nobody to know about this. It's easy to manage. The fact,
but that starts with extortion. That's the first step of extortion.
No, but
once you give someone some money, you are now an ATM.
So you saying someone, no, your son. Like there's a difference between someone and your son that you made. Right or wrong?
Still a stranger though. You don't know.
It don't matter. But if you made him, he's a stranger because of you.
Yeah.
He's a stranger because of you. If you're a stranger, you know what I mean? So my thing is, if you my son, my thing is, I think a son is something all men want. A son.
Yeah.
If once you have a son, you don't care even if he was 40 and you just met him, he's your son. You be like, yo, especially if you got the means to just do whatever you want. That's the thing I think a regular person like me don't understand.
And making sure the world doesn't look away. 50 said he's funding Rymir's legal team, featuring him in an upcoming documentary, and daring Jay-Z to finally face the truth. Rymir says this isn't about money or fame, it's about identity. His late mother, Wanda, told him before she passed that Jay-Z was his real father, claiming she was just 16 years old when she met him in 1992. That allegation alone could rock the hip-hop world to its core. For over a decade, Jay-Z has avoided taking a DNA test, spending millions on lawyers to block the case. And that silence is what keeps fueling suspicion. Because if he's innocent, why not take the test and end it? Now, with Beyonce rumored to have helped bury the story, and 50 Cent publicly stirring the pot, this scandal threatens not just Jay-Z's reputation, but his marriage, his legacy, and his empire. So buckle up. We're diving into one of the most explosive hip-hop scandals of all time, the fight between Jay-Z and the son who refuses to be silenced.
I've always been a person that I never hate anyone. I never, I don't walk around with hate for a person. So I try to teach my kids that just be the best that you can be. So that's just a motto I go off. I would never hate Jay-Z. It was never that type thing. I respect him for everything he did. And as I said, I've been going through a whole lot through these years. Cause this case, like me, my mom, my godmom, we didn't seen the worst. We didn't have people, slander my name. Like you want Jay-Z money, and I hear it all. I'm going to fight until I'm not here no more, and it's never going to be against no one. Like I'm going to continue to fight. It'll take another 10 years, maybe another 50. Maybe I'll take this to the grave with me, but everybody can say I fought this.
What was interesting was that Jay-Z's camp basically put out a statement saying that Jay and Puff are not friends and they're not close at all or whatever else. Did you see the two of them interact a lot?
I seen them interact, but I wouldn't say they was close. I believe Puff felt they was close.
Oh.
But if you was a person on the outside looking in, like me and Uncle Paulie used to always talk about it, me and D-Rock and stuff like, yo, why Puff kind of like sucking Jay off so much? You know what I'm saying? Because you'd be like, we done flew to 5 or 6, 7 different concerts that Jay-Z has. But Jay-Z is not at one of Puff's shows. You know what I'm saying? You look at the Rock brunch where Puff will break his neck to get to the brunch, but Jay-Z don't pop up at any of Puff parties. Now I can only speak up until 2012. You know what I'm saying? And Puff was breaking his neck. Like, at the end of the day, in our mind, we said, yo, he ain't even invite Puff to his wedding. When he married Beyonce, Steve Stout and all of them was there. You know what I'm saying? And Puff was kind of in his feelings, but once again.
Oh, Puff was upset he didn't get invited to the wedding?
Of course he was.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to remember, we're security, so we're bottom on a topo. So he's not going to show you that it really affects him until you have a little conversation with him, or you say something, or you overhear something. But he didn't get invited to that, you know. Yeah, Jay came through every once in a while. Like if we was in a yacht in San Tropez or one of these places like that, Jay might ride up, you know what I'm saying? And it's more or less to show, yeah, I got a yacht too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm out here too. More or less than we're tight friends. I look at it as two people that's getting money because they did have some businesses together, and we did have to go to some meetings together, and it was like, this is how far it goes, but we're not friends. You know what I'm saying? Like people ask me that all the time. I be, Jay ain't really with Puff. It was no personal into it. It would be like if Ron Burgos is flying from LA on his jet, but Jay-Z just so happens to be going to New York too. We all end up on the jet.
For Rymir Carter, this battle isn't about chasing fame or fortune. It's about finally knowing who he is. From the outside, many assume he's just another man trying to cash in on a superstar's wealth. But when you listen closely to his words, a different picture emerges. He's been saying the same thing for over a decade. I don't want money. I just want the truth. His mother, Wanda, was the first to tell him. She claims she met Jay-Z in 1992 when she was just 16. According to her, Jay took her from Philadelphia to Brooklyn, and their relationship resulted in Rymir's birth. For years, Wanda insisted Jay-Z was his father, repeating it to her son so that when the time came, he would know the truth before she passed away. She left signed statements supporting her claim, making sure her voice wouldn't be lost even after death. For Rymir, growing up with this knowledge wasn't easy. He described it as a shadow always hanging over him, watching his alleged father rise to become one of the richest men in music while he struggled to carve out his own life. The resemblance between them became a point of ridicule and curiosity. People pointed out the same nose jawline and mannerisms. For Rymir, it was both validation and a curse. Despite all this, he hasn't spent his life sitting back and waiting for a payout. He's worked jobs, built his own life, and raised his own children. But the unanswered question of who his father is gnaws at him, not just for identity, but for health reasons too. I want to know what runs in my bloodline, he explained, worried about medical conditions he might inherit from Jay-Z's side. For him, it's a matter of survival, not scandal.
Yeah. He's come out and said, like, you know, this is just long-term harassment, man. He's like, this thing is just won't go away.
Long-term harassment. You know how disrespectful that is to a man that looks almost identical to you?
Yeah, that's his child. That's very disrespectful. I mean,
to a man that chances are, just out of nowhere, random universal selection, this boy who's not related to you has your nose, has your mouth, has your brow line, has your hairline, same straight knobby knees. Is like all of this just by accident. Just by accident. It's just a coincidence that this man looks like he could be your Irish twin. Are you kidding me?
Now let's rewind to the beginning. Back in '92, Jay-Z was just starting to build his name in the music world. Wanda, Rymir's mama, said she met him when he scooped her up in Philly and brought her to his aunt's crib in Brooklyn. 2 weeks later, he came through again and then just vanished from her life.
I'll tell you what I do know. I do know that I have listened to actual commentary from his godmother, Lily, who sat with a friend of mine, Liz Crokin. I was there, I was present, I heard it come out of her mouth. Wanda was a minor. A minor when she got pregnant with Rymir. And like Wanda always said, he picked her up in Philly, but he took her to New York across state lines to bed her while she was allegedly underage. Even though Lily was present when Rymir was born.
To understand why this case is so explosive, you have to go back to 1992, when Wanda, the mother of Rymir Carter, said her path crossed with a young, up-and-coming rapper named Sean Carter, better known today as Jay-Z. At that time, Jay wasn't. A billionaire icon, he was still building his name, hustling in the streets of Brooklyn and slowly carving out his place in hip-hop. Wanda's story is as unsettling as it is controversial. She claimed she was only 16 years old when Jay-Z began pursuing her. Friends and family say she was still a teenager, vulnerable and impressionable, when she was allegedly taken across state lines from Philadelphia to New York to meet him. That detail matters because crossing a minor across state lines for sex can carry serious legal consequences. Even decades later. By Wanda's account, their encounters weren't just casual. She insisted that one of those moments led to her pregnancy. Within a year, she gave birth to Rymir. At the time, she didn't have direct access to Jay-Z, who was already moving fast into the music scene. Left without support, Wanda put another man, Robert Graves, down on the birth certificate, likely as a way to protect herself and her child. But in 2011, Robert took a DNA test, and the results proved he wasn't the father. This is where the scandal deepens. If Robert wasn't the father, then who was? According to Wanda, it was Jay-Z. She repeated that claim to Rymir throughout his life. Her godmother, Lily Coley, even backed her up, saying Jay-Z's camp once privately discussed helping Rymir, going so far as to consider signing him to a record deal before suddenly shutting the door. The allegations about Wanda's age are especially damaging. Jay-Z would have been around 22 years old in 1992, a legal adult. Wanda, meanwhile, was under Pennsylvania's age of consent, which has long been 17. If her story is true, it paints a disturbing picture. One of hip-hop's most respected moguls, involved with a minor, then abandoning the situation when it got complicated.
She was very clear on the fact that Wanda was a minor when she was pregnant with Rymir, who was born a year before my son Giovanni. He came 92. That means she got knocked up in 91. He was well into his 20s by that time. Well into his 20s. Allegedly taking teenage girls over state line. He got unlucky, that condom broke. Poor guy. Or maybe that was just karma. Maybe God made sure that happened for a moment like right now. Disgusting. Don't nobody want to talk about the other kids that everybody denies don't exist anymore. You know, to be a billionaire that can't get a loan is one thing. But to be a broke billionaire and a deadbeat dad, that's something different.
Yeah. You know, even Solange's son, the Daniel kid, he says he doesn't have a great relationship with Beyonce, Jay-Z. What do you feel someone coming out saying, hey, Jay-Z's my father? What does that person want from a hoe if he's saying he does not care?
To prove that his mother wasn't a liar, because that's what they said his entire life while she was alive. Denying him makes her a liar. That woman was on the phone with the judge who was harassing her, telling her, demanding that she stop filing for paternity when she gave way and died. His mama died on the phone. Trying to get proper acknowledgement to him. If your mama died like that, would you just sit around and let people keep calling her a liar?
If there's one question that defines this entire saga, it's this. Why won't Jay-Z just take a DNA test? One swab of the cheek could silence Rymir Carter forever. Instead, this fight has been trapped in courtrooms for over a decade, bouncing from dismissal to appeal, from one jurisdiction to another, tangled in a web of delays and legal maneuvers. It all began in 2010 when Rymir, then just 19 years old, filed his first paternity case. At that time, Jay-Z's lawyers argued the New Jersey court couldn't force him to take a DNA test because he didn't own property in the state. Case dismissed. But here's the twist: years later, Rymir produced receipts showing Jay did in fact own property in New Jersey at that time. That revelation raised eyebrows. Had Jay's team deliberately misled the court? This became the pattern. Every time Rymir's side pushed forward, Jay-Z's legal team found a way to stall or block the case. Judges recused themselves. Filings disappeared. Hearings were postponed. To Rymir, it looked less like justice and more like a system designed to protect the powerful. He openly accused lawyers and judges of fraud and collusion, claiming the deck was stacked against him from the start. Meanwhile, Jay-Z stayed silent. No public statements, no interviews addressing the claim. Just lawyers doing the talking. That silence only fueled suspicion. Because in the court of public opinion, avoiding the DNA test looked less like confidence and more like fear.
All the fraud on the court, if we just let that, just pass and not say anything about it, they will continue to do anything they want. This is not just with us, it's with people in the world. Like, a lot of fraud and a lot of collusion that's just been going on and just been looked over was never supposed to happen. And I would not let that pass. I'm not letting the lawyers get away with that. They will not go in the courtroom of justice and just lie like that and continue to get praised off it, or use this lie to benefit off all these years. Like, we've been going to court, putting our hard-earned money out there, and we going in there to fight fraud. That's just that's craziness. That's really craziness. And I don't think nobody in the world should have to go through that. You going in there, you paying your hard-earned money. You got these lawyers that just frauding and pitting anything they want basically in the courtroom, and the judges is just allowing this to go on. I honestly believe that both of them should be hold it responsible for this, because you guys, this is you guys' job, and if the judge can't see this or overlook it, I can understand a mistake, but just throughout the years, to continue to overlook fraud it's just craziness to me. Like, come on, it's right there in your face. If you can't see that, then I don't know what else we can do.
Every day, I also have my own kids to take care of, so it's like it's been a journey for me, and it's just like, I just got so much on my name right now. I never ask for money. I don't do interviews just saying, hey, Jay-Z, give me your money, or I'm coming at the Jay-Z for his money. I never did that. I'm not that type of person. I work for everything. Next is, I'm just trying to basically make sure no other kids or nobody else in the world has to go through this. Basically, don't feel afraid to go to court and see if a person is your biological parents. So many people are scared, and this is a big thing in the world. A lot of people don't have their fathers because they scared to go out and search for them, and sometimes it only take a little search. Go search, and if it's wrong, we're adults. Well, most of us adults, even for the teenagers, this being a role model for them, showing you can't go in the courtroom, and if you're doing everything correctly, you should be able to just get treated as equal as other person.
When you hear the name Beyonce, you think of power, grace, and perfection. She's built an empire on being untouchable, a global superstar who seems immune to scandal. But in Rymir Carter's fight for recognition, Beyonce's name keeps coming up, and not in the way her fans want to hear. According to people close to the case, Beyonce has allegedly been involved in keeping the story buried from the very beginning. Rymir and his supporters claim that every time the case gained traction, mysterious roadblocks appeared. Motions disappeared, judges leaned in Jay-Z's favor. And in the background, there were whispers that Beyonce wanted the problem gone before. It could stain their brand. One chilling story comes from a family friend who claims Beyonce's camp sent a clear message: "Go away, little boy." Whether those words were actually spoken or just industry gossip, they've stuck. To many, they symbolize the cold, ruthless side of protecting an empire, where silencing voices is easier than facing the truth. It doesn't stop there. Rymir has said that after one of his mother's legal filings, strangers appeared on their property, intimidating them into backing off. Was Beyonce personally behind that? There's no proof. But in a world where her reputation is tied directly to Jay-Z's, it's not hard to see why people believe she'd do whatever it takes to shield their empire from collapse. If there's one person who loves chaos in hip-hop, it's 50 Cent. For years, he's built a reputation as the ultimate troll, calling out rivals, planning scandals, and never missing a chance to embarrass someone in the industry. And now, he's set his sights on J-Z. When news broke that Rymir Carter's lawsuit was finally moving forward, 50 wasted no time jumping in. Reports say he's funding Rymir's legal fees and even planning to feature him in a new documentary about hip-hop's darkest secrets. Why? Because nothing would bring 50 more satisfaction than watching Jay-Z sweat. Let's not forget, Jay-Z and 50 Cent have never been close. Their rivalry goes back years, rooted in competition, ego, and the battle for dominance in hip-hop. While Jay built his empire with Beyonce by his side, 50 carved out a different path, blunt, confrontational, and unafraid to say what others won't. For 50, this scandal is an opportunity. By supporting Rymir, he positions himself as the guy who isn't afraid to speak truth to power. He's not just trolling Jay online, he's actively helping push the case forward. It's part personal vendetta, part content goldmine. After all, controversy drives clicks, views, and relevance, and let's be real, 50 Cent doesn't care whether Rymir's claims are true or not. What he cares about is the spectacle. Every time Jay-Z dodges the DNA test, 50 gets more ammo too. Roast him to 50, this is entertainment. To Jay-Z, it's a nightmare.
She was very clear on the fact that Wanda was a minor when she was pregnant with Rymir, who was born a year before my son Giovanni. He came 92. That means she got knocked up in 91. He was well into his 20s by that time. Well into his 20s. Allegedly taking teenage girls over state line. He got unlucky, that condom broke. Poor guy. Or maybe that was just karma. Maybe God made sure that happened for a moment like right now. Disgusting. Don't nobody want to talk about the other kids that everybody denies don't exist. And what? You know, to be a billionaire that can't get a loan is one thing. But to be a broke billionaire and a deadbeat dad, that's something different.
Yeah. You know, even Solange's son, the Daniel kid, he says he doesn't have a great relationship with Beyonce, Jay-Z. What do you feel someone coming out saying, "Hey, Jay-Z's my father"? What does that person want from a hoe if he's saying he does not care?
To
You
prove
think
that his mother wasn't a liar, because that's what they said his entire life while she was alive. Denying him makes her a liar. That woman was on the phone with the judge who was harassing her, telling her, demanding that she stop filing for paternity when she gave way and died. His mama died on the phone. Trying to get proper acknowledgement to him. If your mama died like that, would you just sit around and let people keep calling her a liar?
The timing of Rymir Carter's case couldn't be worse for Jay-Z. That's because hip-hop is already on fire with another massive scandal, Diddy's empire collapsing under federal investigations, lawsuits, and shocking allegations for decades. Jay-Z and Diddy were seen as parallel figures to moguls who turned rap into billion-dollar empires. They attended the same parties, appeared at the same events, and even partnered on business ventures. But according to insiders, the relationship wasn't as close as it seemed. While Diddy often bent over backwards to show up for Jay rarely returned the favor. Still, their names are linked, and when Diddy's world fell apart, the spotlight shifted to anyone who stood beside him. That's where Jay-Z's trouble deepens. As investigators dig into Diddy's history, rumors swirl that some of the dirt could point back to Jay. Add Rymir's lawsuit on top, and suddenly Jay-Z looks less like hip-hop's untouchable king and more like another mogul with secrets waiting to be exposed. The public is watching closely. After years of protecting powerful men in the industry, people aren't turning a blind eye anymore. With Diddy already facing potential downfall, many are asking, who's next? And with 50 Cent fueling the fire, Jay-Z is quickly becoming the prime target. For Jay-Z, the Diddy connection is dangerous, not because they were best friends, but because guilt by association is enough to keep his name in the headlines. And when your reputation is built on being untouchable, even a shadow of doubt can be devastating. Public opinion is split, but one thing is clear: people are talking. On social media, fans point to Rymir's resemblance to Jay-Z, flooding timelines with side-by-side photos and demanding a DNA test. Supporters see Rymir as a man bravely fighting against a billionaire machine. Critics accuse him of chasing clout within the industry. Reactions are cautious. Most artists are keeping quiet, not wanting to pick sides in a battle involving one of hip-hop's most powerful figures. But behind the scenes, whispers suggest many believe the story has weight. Insiders claim some execs fear that if Jay-Z is forced into a test, and the results confirm Wanda's story, the fallout could be catastrophic for his reputation and business ventures. Whether it's gossip blogs or mainstream outlets, the narrative is shifting. Jay-Z's silence isn't strength anymore. It looks like evasion. And that silence is costing him in the court of public opinion. Jay-Z isn't just a rapper. He's a brand, a billionaire, and a cultural icon. His legacy stretches far beyond music into business, philanthropy, and his carefully crafted image as a devoted husband and father. That's why this case is so dangerous. If Rymir's claims are proven true, Jay-Z's entire empire could take a hit. His marriage to Beyonce, long painted as a symbol of strength, would be overshadowed by betrayal. His reputation as a family man would collapse under allegations of abandoning a son conceived with a teenage girl. And in an era where public opinion decides careers, the backlash could be swift and unforgiving. Even without a confirmed result, the constant headlines chip away at his image. For someone who built an empire on control and perfection, the possibility of being exposed is the ultimate threat. Jay-Z isn't just fighting a case, he's fighting for his legacy. So here we are, after more than a decade of legal battles, countless dismissals, and endless speculation, the clock is finally ticking for Jay-Z. A judge has ordered him to respond by July 18th, and the world is watching to see what he'll do. Will he finally take the DNA test and put the rumors to rest? Or will he find another way to delay the inevitable? For Rymir Carter, this is about more than celebrity drama. It's about truth, identity, and honoring the words of a mother who died still fighting for her son's recognition. With 50 Cent funding the fight, Beyonce's silence raising questions, and Diddy's collapse shifting the culture, Jay-Z is running out of places to hide. One swab of DNA could end this story, or ignite the biggest scandal hip-hop has ever seen. What happens next could define Jay-Z's legacy forever. The question is simple. Will the truth finally come out, or will the empire keep its secrets buried? Stay tuned. Because one way or another, the clock is running out.